Hello everyone, you are watching sqadia.com and I am Hammad Haider. Today our topic is neuropathies and we will be discussing about neuropathies in a way that it's not only the diseases which affect the nerves actually, but also the diseases which have associated symptoms along with the nerve injuries. We will be first going through the peripheral neuropathies, that is the involvement and damages of the peripheral nerves. For example, we will be briefly going through the pathology, what is chronic axonal degeneration, and what are demyelinating neuropathies. As you know, the nerves are actually covered from peripheral nerves, especially are covered in axon sheath, which are found with the Schwann cells. What happens when the demyelination occurs? What happens when the lesions occurs? We will briefly going through the classification systems of peripheral neuropathy as well. Then, in the next section, we'll be going through the hereditary and metabolic neuropathies. For example, specifically, the most common neuropathy which is associated with is called as congenital neuropathy is Charcot's-Marie-Tooth disease, also called as hereditary motor and sensory neuropathy. We'll be briefly going through that associated with in metabolic. Diabetes is now a very common disease in the world and is actually it's a kind of a disease which affects nerve as well as it causes neuropathy, nephropathy and retinopathy. Therefore, we'll be going through briefly what is diabetic neuropathy and how to manage the neuropathy and complications associated with the neuropathy, especially in diabetics and alcoholics. Then in the third section, we'll be going through those diseases which actually are infections, especially the viral infections, but they infect the nerves actually, especially the varicella zoster virus infection called as shingles or herpes zoster virus infections as well. We'll be briefly going in the fourth section through the diseases which are also called as congenital diseases, but in a way they are partially briefly associated with neuropathic symptoms as well, in which the muscle are actually not properly functioning. For example, we'll be going through arthrogryposis and muscular dystrophies. In the last, we'll going through the myotonia and fibromyalgia, although they are not exactly classical neuropathies, but the kind of nervous system function and neurological symptoms are associated with these. So we'll be covering briefly them as well. Thank you very much. Keep watching sqadia.com.